Following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Back from the wine country of Sonoma and here to the Irish hills of Michigan. After an absolutely fantastic yet cliche Michigan race where fuel strategy ended up getting the victory by mere drops of gasoline, let's see what we can do here in the Truck Series. 90 laps, 180 miles here in Brooklyn, Michigan, to see what can happen here in round number 5 of the Area Truck Series. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of this race, and let's ignore that because I forgot to take it off in testing. But welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Truck Series, 90 laps here around this racetrack. I'll get into that story in just a little bit of what that little clip actually means, but it's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the truck. Dirt here again helping me out with the calls. So last night, Dirt, the absolute cliche of Michigan. We had a finish where fuel, about 6 drops of fuel would have got Drew Jua into victory lane. Do you think we have a chance at replication of that tonight?
I think we do. The Truck Series, a lot of the same guys that run Cup run Truck, and even the Truck exclusive drivers are extremely talented here in Area. So, we see a little bit more green flag racing than you might see in other leagues, and that just opens the door up to strategy. But, it's motorsport. It's hard to make any predictions. Last night you were on the pessimistic side. You got proven wrong. Maybe tonight I'm proven wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it becomes a little more action-packed as far as these guys pushing and shoving. You never know. But I do know that last night the handling condition looked to be a little bit tight for these guys, and these trucks, as I've been watching them make laps, actually look a little bit squirrely, a little bit loose. So going to be a little bit different product, maybe going to be fun.
Absolutely. These drivers still getting used to the aero package here that the trucks now have, and we're hearing a lot of drivers having issues with that, struggling with packing air, the aero loose situation here, and then compounding with the draft that we're dealing with. It's definitely going to make this an interesting race, but I definitely think we're going to have a lot of pack racing. Again, as we are 4 races into the season, let's go over the point standings. Alex Chilcutt, he dominated last week and led every single lap, and he is up by 12 points over Cole Cabrey. Jeremy Miller, our Daytona winner, in third. Beckner and Conrad, the top 5, and our top 10 separated by 40 points here with 37 trucks, so everybody will make the grid. Of course, a dominating effort by Alex Chilcutt. Dirt, I will bet everything in my investing account here if somebody has a perfect race here. This is probably going to push one of the lead change records here in Area based on what we've seen in trends.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Lead changes are going to be abound here at Michigan, not only because it's a pack race of sorts, but because unlike other pack races, tire wear comes into effect. So, everybody's on fresh tires. They're passing each other back and forth, revolving door effect. And then the tires start to wear, and the drivers that save start coming up through, and it just enhances that revolving door effect we see. So going to be a lot of passing. That's one thing we can safely predict, even if we can't really predict anything else.
And a lot of drivers were saying, they just want this one to be over with because, again, everyone has their stigma with these drafting style pack racing tracks. Some drivers use it as an opportunity. Some drivers just wait till next week, and next week will be at Rockingham. So certainly these drivers will not have to worry about that next week. I want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's your first time, don't make your last. Hit the like and subscribe button here as we further eclipse new boundaries here on our sub count. And if you're on Twitch, consider hitting the follow button there. $5 a month, double points you will earn. Get yourself custom emotes, and then you can use those points for some free merch over there. So, saw a lot of, what do we call them? It's been so long since I've raced. Pit parties there in practice, and probably seeing a couple here in warm-up as well. We saw Pit Road have a couple issues last night, Dirt, with drivers speeding on entry here, so it behoove of them to make sure they're dusted off in that category.
Yeah, like I said, Michigan's one of those tracks with such a wide open entry that I think some drivers might get a little overconfident and they just get greedy. And, you know, we saw some penalties last night, and you want to make sure you know exactly where your braking markers are. And even if you know where they are, make sure you're also looking around that truck, looking in the mirror, seeing where the competition is, because, you know, you might be checking up, but the guy behind you might be getting greedy and you're right in his way. So pitting a bit of a complex thing here. And with this track being a little bit bigger, this is a track I think you can pit for a splash and go and not go a lap down, which enhances the strategy. But we do have some weather information. It is currently 93 on the track, 70 in the air, about 3 o'clock, so it's only going to get cooler. Not extreme temps, very similar to what we saw last night in the Cup Series, Corey, just kind of moderate temperatures, nothing too extreme for them to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of the prime conditions, as you said, 3 o'clock, and of course, no lights here at Michigan, but mathematically, I think it's impossible for us to be pushing this any close to sunset here. So we'll see what happens over the course of the race. We do have a lot of penalties to discuss, as hopefully that does not happen under green flag conditions. But we have Smith, Carr, Bodie, Miller, and Swank with the EOLs, and with the more drastic penalties, we have Renner and Eli Green. They will have to take that drive-through, which isn't too cataclysmic, Dirk, because as we saw last night, they will stay on the lead lap. They just have to hope that caution lets them rubber band back up to things.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. And you know, last night it was the last to first challenge, so we've seen by example that these penalties are not the end of your night. As long as you're patient, you play it right, and you have a little bit of luck, the cards fall in your favor ever so slightly, I think you're going to be good to go. So Michigan, a little bit forgiving in that regard, but it's not really forgiving in any other regard. Yeah, we saw last night that when you're going 3-4 wide, some incidents can occur. So as you're working your way back up through, you got to be vigilant. And I think that patience last night was what got that winning driver the win, just kind of slowly working his way up through the field rather than kind of brute forcing it.
And you had Drew Jua in that 96. He was on massive fuel saving. He had to put the power down to keep that lead, and he put the power down maybe about a quarter of a lap too early, ran himself out of fuel. So you never can take fuel mileage out here at Michigan. Well, I guess you can take it out if there's a caution, probably within about 40 laps. But did get a little inkling here from David Weishart, who helped admin here on Tuesday nights. He said fuel probably around 35 laps. Maybe if you hypermile it, you can get close to 40. And again, with a 90-lap race, you'd think that would actually put us in a two-stop strategy. One full fuel tank and a splash and go, which that can surely open up things. But that is under the inclination that we do run this thing green, which, you know, last night I was caught off surprise. We did basically run it green. The trend was 2 cautions. Here in the Truck Series, though, Darren, I'm looking at our spreadsheet that the famous Hunter Sleppy has created. I have a little bit more grim of a forecast. Our average here at Michigan is 6 cautions for about 20 laps.
Yeah, you know, trends can be broken, though, so we're not going to get too pessimistic yet, but maybe last night put some good fortune in the air for these guys, got it kind of in their head, but either way, whatever comes, we'll be excited to see who can navigate the conditions here at Michigan. And but you're right, these 6 cautions, that sounds about right for Michigan. I mean, I've been watching a lot of scheduled public races and things this week, not just at Michigan, but at some other mile and a halfs on the service. And yeah, well, this isn't a mile and a half, it's 2 miles, but same style racing, and tend to get some incidents, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Michigan, a very unique track now, is the only 2-mile track now that Fontana, well, they just don't need to talk about what's going on there in Fontana. But That is the end of our warm-up, so we'll head down to our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup in just a jiff. Of course, Central Mobile Homes, if you're looking for a new home, a large or small home, a new shed or triple crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, serving Florida customers for 30 years. Plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and triple crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring at centralmobilehomeinc.com. But let's head down trackside and let you know where your favorite driver is starting here at the Michigan Speedway. Starting today's race off from the front row is going to be Jonathan Evans in that number 26, a 39.7. Alex McCullum right to his outside. Next row will find Brad Slaughter and Jacob Harberts there in the 4th position. Then we'll have Danny Ware in 5th. Trevor Edwards going to be in the 6th position. Chase Cabry doesn't have to start at the back today. He can actually race from up there in 7th. Eli Green in 8th. And then rounding out our top 10, Travis Beckner and Jeremy Miller.
And outside of the top 10, it is going to be Hayden Swank in the number 70. Cole Cabry going to be P12. Next row behind them, P13 goes to Ryan Swan in that Rick's Hot Sauce Chevrolet. Kyle Talbot going to be P14. Look back to 15th, that's where you're going to find Ben Pierce alongside Josh Parrish, P16. 17th going to go to Jacob Bell with Garrett Conrad to his outside, 18th. Running out the top 20, it is going to be Bryce Senesac in P19 and Corey Bodie, P20.
Then we head back to 21st, William Hale, and then Cody Dempster in 22nd, Garrett Grant 23rd, and Dante Curtis in 24th. Carson Burrows in 25th with Alex Chilcutt, last week's Dominator, in 26th position. Grant Brown 27th, Austin Teal 28th. We got 37 strong here today, Chase Swank and Brian Noel. And we'll let the rest of them scroll on by, because again, with the EOLs, the back of the grid always ends up being a little bit of a hodgepodge there, as again, 37 cars, as we always call them. Incidentally, trucks. Tough trucks strong here at Michigan. We already went over our weather conditions. Our race details are the same as you would expect. They are kind of a copy and paste here in area. 4 sets of tires in our fixed setups with no backup cars. And if we need overtime, which we have used all 3 of them on a few occasions this season, we do have 3 of them in our back pocket.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but it may be the saving grace for a few of these drivers if it does. And we'll just have to wait and see how it shakes out. Drivers rolling out of pit road. And with this race being 90 laps, it's, again, a little bit shorter than the Cup race as per usual, but still plenty of time for any of these drivers that got a penalty, any of these drivers that maybe want to play it patient to start with. And it's going to really open up the door to some possibilities. There they go. Out and away. Not long now, Corey.
Absolutely. We'll see if we get 2 pace laps. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't here. Just depends. Probably will, because we do have a myriad of administrative calls to take care of and get drivers sorted. And I said I would explain. There was that little random little Brady Bunch clip at the start here, because I forgot to turn that scene off when I was making sure doing my audio testing. Brad likes to say moving and grooving a lot. And if you're old like me and you watch the Brady Bunch, grooving is a 70s term, so that's my little spoof to him, even though he's not here. But these drivers will hope to be moving and grooving. Jonathan Evans choosing the outside lane here, it appears. Yes, indeed. He's going to try to be working with, at least for the start, Jacob Harberts there, who is a winner on the season. Pardon me, not Jacob Harberts. Actually, no, that is Jacob Harberts. Yes, so he'll be trying to work with him there on that outside lane.
Yeah, we know Harberts has a lot of speed week in, week out, so that'll be a truck to keep your eye on. And really, front of the field's a bit of a powerhouse. It's really the first week where we haven't seen too many EOLs kind of shuffling things up. So some of these guys not having as much work to do this week as they've had in previous weeks. And as the pace truck pulls off, Barney's got the green flag in hand. We are getting ready to go racing here at Michigan. Lap 1 underway. Gonna sail it in 2 wide all the way back down into turn 1. It looks like already a few drivers standing out, looking to make it 3 wide. Get while the getting's good. They are going to be 3 wide. That number 30 truck, not an unfamiliar position for him to be in, as he's looking to maybe make it 4 wide. momentarily. Corey, they have wasted no time getting in on the action.
Absolutely. 3 wide is the norm. 4 wide is spreading out here in the wide corners here at the Michigan Speedway. Jonathan Evans in that black truck in the middle now, and here comes Jeremy Miller trying to go from about 5th to 1st in 1 lap. He won't have enough momentum off the corner that time by. Barney's going to have a whale of a view here as they are absolutely all over this racetrack.
That they are just using every inch. Now, last night in the Cup Series race, the bottom was kind of a lane that you only used if you wanted to get a little risky because it was so loose and unpredictable, but I'm seeing a lot of trucks wrap that middle line. They seem to be pretty comfortable down there, at least on fresh tires. That could change as time goes on, but Jonathan Evans continues to lead the way. Jeremy Miller up just a few positions from where he qualified. He's looking to try to take an early lead. And Jeremy Miller on that middle groove, I'm not surprised to see that. That is exactly where he was running in the Cup Series. He liked that higher line, and it seemed to be working out pretty dang good for him. Now, a little bit further back, that was some contact, Corey, to a bumper. Not sure exactly who it was, but getting out of shape early on.
Yeah, a lot of guys getting out of shape, as we did hear that, the aerodynamics, as we talked about, the getting right up to the rear bumper of these trucks will certainly unsettle them. And when you're here in the mix here in the draft, oh no, we got Follies down the back. That is Josh Parrish in the 55. Down to the inside of the track, even though there is a lot of runoff space here at Michigan. If you wreck on the racing surface, of course, Barney can't let that one slide. Let's try to sort this one out. He's in the middle, making good time there. 62 to his inside. Looks like the 62 might have washed up a skosh. We'll have to get a top-down perspective of that, or something resembling it. Kind of hard to say there from that perspective. We'll get one more gist of it here. I think Jacob Bell in the 77 is actually going to have a really good perspective of this.
Yeah, so on board with Bell, we'll see what he saw. And yeah, it looked like just a bit of a minor loss of grip, then an overcorrection up into him. It looked like he was a little bit unsettled there, Corey.
William Hale is that number 62 driver. And of course, we will wait to see what the administrative call is. We do have a rogue Hunter Sleppy. He's not here in the booth, but he's busy. But he just wanted to watch some good truck action. So Hunter here just having a sandwich here in the back of the booth from the top here. We're getting a 1-point penalty assessed equally to both drivers there. And, we couldn't come to a direct answer as to whose wreck that was. So admin neither. So we're just going to split it right down the middle there.
I think that's a good call. It's just one of those racing deals. Anytime you get 3 wide and, these trucks are dancing around a little bit. I mentioned it in practice. They really don't seem as comfortable as those Cup Series cars were, where they were kind of getting tight. These guys, a little bit tail happy maybe, but either way, it will be now the number 30 who was just in the lead barely when that caution came out. So Jeremy Miller going to lead the pack back to the screen, barring any pit shenanigans, although I cannot imagine for the life of me anybody would be coming down pit road on lap 5 unless they were very unhappy with their tire pressure or whatever other minor things they might be able to adjust here with fixed setup.
Fuel, top off, why not? You don't know how it's going to all come together. It's a matter
That's
of...
the old dirt says something, and then the immediate opposite happens.
I mean, like we said last night, for those who didn't watch it, I highly suggest going back and checking the end of that, because fuel strategy was immense. And Drew Jua, not to just rub salt in the wound if he's watching it or if a teammate or what have you, but the old Dale Jr. run out of fuel coming right to the checkers. You could see the flag. Literally, Barney had the flag in his hand, but no fuel reserve there to get him to the end. Sebastian Marin took that checkered flag, so it's just that extra from an iRacing perspective, maybe 0.2, 0.5 gallons could be the difference.
Yeah, after last night, it really is maybe not a bad idea. Be a little bit precautious, staying up on the fuel and just making sure you got it when you can get it, especially if you're further back in the field. If you're somebody that's a little bit further back, you hadn't made that many laps, hadn't made up that much ground, not really losing a lot by topping off, but it could help you later down the line. So maybe a little bit of smart strategy early on as the pace truck does get them doubled up. We're going to be going green next time by, I do believe. So right back to the action. So far, the trend holding true. It only took 4 laps to get us to our first caution, but it's one of those things. I think it'll settle down over time. The drivers will kind of get into a rhythm if they can make it that far. So we'll have to wait and see. But the number 30 and the number 28 both looking to be powerhouses, but a little bit further back, I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that 28. He wasn't rocketing out of the gate by any means, but it looked to me like he was running at that perfect pace to save a little bit of tire, to get that long run speed should we have a long run. So I'm going to look at him to pick up a few positions.
Yeah, Travis Beckner, someone who's just waiting to get into victory lane, almost won at Miami. In fact, dominated at Miami, but just fell apart in the waning stages. Again, referencing back to the trends that we may be following here. Again, I mentioned 6 cautions for 19 laps. Well, Dirt, we talked in the opening about 3 green, white checkers. Of the 6 races that have been held here in the Area Truck Series at Michigan Speedway, 5 of the 6 of them have gone into overtime here. So we're going to try to break some trends here today in the Area Truck Series 180, as I can do some basic mathematics there. But coming off the quarter, Jeremy Miller, our control vehicle, he'll be doing it from the outside lane as we enter our generic restart box on the loud pedal. I already see a stack up in the back, but we're back racing, and hopefully they can keep it all pointing the right way.
Hopefully, indeed, and that stack up was a little nerve-wracking, but Jeremy Miller out to an early solo lead, 2 wide for P2 behind him. That 28 is going to be 2 cars back on the outside, and contact already, the number 54, a little bit of a shot to the bumper, I believe from Jacob Harberts. Got him sideways, but he didn't gather it up. They fall in line, and I do mean they're in line, Corey. That is bumper to bumper, about 5 cars deep back there. And finally, we get to the corner, they fan out, and new race leader Alex McCollum in the number 1 is going to dive to the low side. Around Jeremy Miller he goes, but Jeremy's going to try to make it a crossover. He's got that slipstream back to the bumper, 3 wide further back. Now there was some contact there. I believe the number 60 might have caught a piece of something, but this is just too much to keep an eye on, Corey. There's stuff going on. Everywhere there is. The 70 involved in a wreck ahead of this. It's the big one on lap 8. That is going to be probably 5 or 6 cars with significant damage.
And we kind of saw that developing live there. They were 4 wide entering the corner, and I want to say it was in the direction of Ryan Swan entering turn 1 here. Got Rick's Hot Sauce, Cody Dempster to the inside. Oh no, what? Ryan Swan got the worst end of it, but it was the 56 getting into the left rear. That was Kyle Taub there. Again, they are 4 wide, and as I have called out, if you don't have a live spotter, you know, an actual human in your ear, iRacing doesn't tell you when you're 4 wide, so not sure if all parties involved were aware of that, but... And then ahead of that, the 70 as a second incident, Hayden Swank.
Yeah, that was an odd one. That was like unrelated, it would seem. Take a closer look at it. Follow along with Mr. Swank and see what got him caught up. I think it was just a shot to the bumper, and then
35.
had to chase it up the track, and they just kept filing in, Corey. They just kept filing in.
Yeah, that was the 35 that gave him that little tap to the rear. That was Danny Ware in the back of Hayden Swank. So a double whammy there, as Admin will have fun trying to compile the score on that one, but it looks like they are computing it as we speak. So 2 cautions within our first 10 laps here at Michigan. But again, I mean, look at here. You can count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 lanes here of real estate. Realistically, you can run 6 wide here in a physical sense, and you know we're largely trying for it here. I think we've seen 5 once briefly, and we are getting 2 points to the 35 in the rec score category. 2 points to that number 35 truck of Danny Ware.
Again, I got to agree with that call by the admins. It was a little bit leaning in that direction, but again, at Michigan, it's hard to really assign blame to anybody. They're all so close. it is such an intense environment when you're pack racing in these trucks that the aero, we were told by the drivers, the aero is going to be a big factor. And I think both of us were kind of thinking, hey, that means aero blocking, getting tight in the draft. But also, Corey, man, when somebody pulls up to the back of one of these trucks and it takes the air off that spoiler, these things get loose. So this aero can affect you in one direction or the other, neither of them particularly pleasant. And there's just no getting away from it. I mean, when you're 3 wide, 4 wide, all the way through the field, you're just not getting away from that turbulence, the aero effects. And these guys are going to have to deal with that all night long.
Yeah, when I had heard the aero issues, I was more kind of thinking that we were going to see a similar race to what we saw last night, where they were able to, eventually it single filed out quite radically, and that's what led to those multiple strategies developing. But it seems as though the handling is going away, and of course they're getting the, as I think the hip kids call it these days, the rear air grief, as they call it, aka aero loose. But there's enough draft that even though they're having those concerns, the draft is keeping them together. So they're basically in the draft with an ill-handling truck, which basically is just a recipe for failure.
Boy, it is really weird hearing the term griefing make a comeback. Last time I heard that was like 2012 on Minecraft servers when somebody would blow up the base you had built. That was griefing.
Yeah,
hadn't really heard it in the recent times, but seems like it's coming back.
Yeah, that's what they said when I think the next gen had got the new aero model, which has been implemented to more vehicles here on the iRacing service. They said you get rear air grief, which us old folk call it aero loose. I know in the form of the next gen, it's not really supposed to get aero loose, just it's not really in the real world thing. It's kind of a nuance, but trucks and the Nopes vehicles, which of course we'll see on Thursday, they certainly are affecting of such. But Alex McCullum, I think the third restart of the day and the third leader of the day, and he will be again choosing that outside lane. He will have Jonathan Evans, our pole sitter, behind him, and then Jeremy Miller will have the 28 of Travis Beckner. Again, you can catch Travis Beckner at Hendry County on Saturday. He'll be waving the flags there for that event. Racing will be back on March 2nd. It'll be back on May 2nd with mod lights, Top Gun sprints, and more. Again, tickets 20 for adults, discounts for kids and seniors. And, kids in age 5 and under get free. Come see them in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 2700racing.com. But let's get ready, and maybe this will be the magic restart, Dirt, where we can get this race flowing.
The magic restart, is that like the magic school bus? We'll have to wait and see where they go. Where is Miss Frizz going to take them? Hopefully she takes them to a long green flag run as the pace truck pulls down to pit road. He's going to get comfortable and hopefully have some time to maybe read a nice little ebook on the Kindle while these guys race it out. Because the number one, a little bit of contact early on. I think these guys were getting squirrely before the green even came out, but that looks like Jeremy Miller going to hang tight to the inside, not letting that one truck get away from him. They're immediately going to look at maybe 3 wide beneath the yellow line. Corey, you know that is dangerous. That number 28, Travis Beckner, he took that risk, and it might have paid off because he's going to pull alongside for P2. Only problem is now he does not have a good entry into 3 and 4. He's entering at a shallow angle. 2 cars to his outside. Again, beneath that yellow line. Not fun. He's got to give it the lift. The 49 very vigilant to check up and let him breathe that throttle the way that he did, but now getting loose all the way down the straightaway. We are fishtailing, Corey. This is chaos.
Absolutely. He took such a shallow line on exit there. It really sacrificed his whole run down the straightaway, which put him in the back, but he's really driving it on in on corner entry. And this is a tight sandwich here. Jeremy Miller, he was in the middle of a tight 3 wide and still is 44 to his rear. That's Corey Bodie. He was an EOL driver, but he's already worked himself into the top 10. Eli Green had a drive through. He is in the thick of it, along with Cody Dempster beating the sandwich 3 by 3, maybe even by 4 at places here. This is not lap 88, folks. We still have about 70 some odd laps to go.
That we do. It's a lot of racing left, and these first few laps have not exactly gone by on the blink of an eye thanks to this pacing, thanks to this chaos. I cannot believe they are sustaining this 4 wide. The number 44 is just kind of ping-ponging. He's not in an enviable position. This poor guy's just hanging on for dear life. He's going to get to the outside lane, single file, a little bit more comfortable there, but now going on board with Mr. Garrett Conrad. He's one of these trucks on the low line. He's looking at possible 2-3 wide. Jeremy Miller on the outside. He slides up to block. Now it's going to be a shot to the bumper. Oh, I don't think these cautions scared these drivers at all, Corey. I don't think they're holding back.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller just had to really evade that number 49. You can see that 49 getting loose, and now Jeremy Miller just drives it in the middle there again. In the middle of the sandwich. Now Trevor Edwards. We're always getting confused with Trevor Edwards, mixing him up with Chase Caby. Well, we haven't talked about Chase Caby really today, but we are talking about Trevor Edwards here. He is now in the 10th spot. But speaking of Cabrys, Cole, he is in that 5th spot and trying to go high, trying to go low. Somebody scraping the fence there. I think that was Conrad, and still in the fence.
Yeah, ought to be careful of those fence taps. We saw the effects of that last night in the Cup Series. Feed drivers were getting real intimate with that fence, getting real familiar with it, and it came back to bite them. The handling went away, but this 4-wide situation, Beckner on the bottom, Miller on the top, the 49, Garrett Conrad in the middle, and they're getting a little bit sideways further back in the field. I don't know if that was the result of some contact or just trying to shoot down and get out of the draft, but either way, I believe that was Cabrey. And can't quite make out
Trevor Edwards.
That is the number 2 of Trevor Edwards. Similar paint schemes, but my goodness, Corey, we are several laps into this run. About this time in the Cup Series, we'd be settling down, we'd be getting single file, but not here.
Yeah, well, they are a single file up front right now. They are about, well, never mind, because now you have Jonathan Evans to the inside, but they have a quartet of sorts here, a little 4-truck breakaway. Jeremy Miller trying to draft his way out in there. Let's do the IndyCar draft there to the inside, trying to break the toe. As again, month of May coming up here, so you see a lot of that kind of style of racing, of course, and over in Indiana. But Alex McCollum has a modest advantage right now, but Jeremy Miller has that lead draft now, and he ain't going to stay single file. I'll bet that one.
No, I don't think single files in his vocabulary. I think he's all aggression all the time. Brad Slaughter Jr. in P3, haven't mentioned him a lot, but he's got pace, keeping right up with Harberts, and we're just not seeing a breakaway for the lead. I don't know if this is the draft, Corey, or if these guys are just that evenly matched in skill. I think it might be a little column A, a little bit of column B, but Harberts kind of stuck in his prey here. McCollum was very quick out of the gate, but I think we're finally getting to a run just long enough, Corey, we might start to see who's got the long run pace, who's abusing their equipment, who's taking care of it. But that would mean we got to stay green, and looking at this pack, not a surefire thing.
I have just now deduced that the column A, column E thing that I say frequently, I stole from you. So I'll have to start sending royalties your way. But who's going all the way to the top of the track? That purple truck, that number 62, William Hale. I remember seeing him involved in something but a caution or two ago, but he's to that outside lane trying to make something happen down the back. Who is he battling with? That is the 15 of Forrest Smith. This is in about 15th, 17th. Eli Green getting forced 3 wide by Josh Parrish. Remember, Parrish was backwards on the back straightaway about maybe 10 laps ago.
Yeah, this whole gaggle of cars here, they have been locked in this battle. We've kind of seen it at the back of the frame. Now we're giving it our full attention. Josh Parrish involved in that incident early on, now trying to make a bit of a comeback. Luckily didn't damage the truck, but you see it right there, Corey. You saw that 55 wiggle. He is not the only one in the center of the corners. This truck just does not look stable, and given this is fixed setup, they're all dealing with the same conditions. That might be contributing to some of the chaos we've seen, but I like it. I like when the vehicle is tough to drive. It puts these drivers to the test, and I'll tell you, what a show they're putting on. That 62 machine, doing everything he can. Parrish wiggles again, gets a little loose. The 62 takes advantage. William Hale to the point now for P15. My goodness, this is such good racing.
Absolutely. Now that we're spread out enough to where, you know, they can make the moves, but they're not absolutely on each other's toes, maybe on their ankles, not quite on the toes there. But Brad Slaughter does have someone on his toes, and that is going to be the number 26 of Jonathan Evans. But now Jacob Harberts, he's going to have to watch out for that 81, who's going to have to watch out for that number 30. And clean air is the name of the game here, so wherever they're not, that's where you put that truck in the corner. Jeremy Miller ripping the fence. That also gives him a little bit of momentum down these straightaways. But here's Slaughter right to the back deck lid of the 80. Give him the push. Is he going to get out of the air wake? He will. And that's kind of the nicest thing you can do there, Dirt, is get out of the wake in the corner. It puts dirty air, well, clean air on your nose, but it also prevents the guy in front of you from getting loose.
Yeah, it does. Speaking of loose, way tail end of the field, we saw a car shoot out of line, went down about 4 lanes, saved it. That was a little bit startling, but we've seen that a few times now. Side by side for P2. Looks, the 30 car hard into the wall. That was not a love tap, Corey. That was a significant hit. That might have actually given him a little bit of aero damage. Have to wait and see when he comes down pit road. I'd be curious to see what his box time is, because that might be something to fix. As he is now nearly 4 wide. Hemorrhaging positions. Around goes Slaughter. Around goes Jonathan Evans. Oh, buddy, and it just is not going to stop coming. Here comes Garrett Conrath. Travis Beckner also making moves on Jeremy Miller. Bad goes to worse for that 30.
Cole Cabry, I swear he went about 3 positions in one corner there. Just drove to the bottom and it stuck, and I saw him get a little bit loose and get a lot of bit loose there as Slaughter, I think, is in the fence. There is Travis Beckner again beating the sandwich. Jonathan Evans to the inside. And remember that 4-truck breakaway that we talked about? Let's eclipse that 4-truck breakaway up to a 12-truck lead gaggle of sorts here, as they can't get away from each other. But we're 24 laps in. We did get, again, an estimation of about 35 laps, maybe 40 on a hypermile. We've had 2 cautions, so maybe about 15 laps away from pit stops. But given the trends, I'm not banking on a green flag stop quite yet.
No, and I don't think these drivers are really going to be thinking about that too seriously. Cole Cabry, big loose off the bumper of Brad Slaughter. But as I was saying, I don't think they're really considering green flag stops yet, because they know the trends. They know how this race tends to go. If I'm a driver, I'm planning on a yellow, but if we get too much further into this run, I'd say about 5 or 6 more laps, then you're going to start seriously considering it.
Absolutely. You just have to make that calculated gamble. And let's just get a reference with our race leader here, who really hasn't been challenged, but I don't think that is going to stem for much longer. Alex McCullum down about 0.8 of a second from his best lap of the day. So that does add up, you know, when it comes to cycles. We saw it work out last night, but, you know, we have to get there first. But Cole Cabry on a mission, of course, already won a race this season, trying to go for 2. And he's in good position. Dive into the bottom of the track, and Alex McCullum will shut the door, put some dirty air on that 54.
And a little bit further back in that lead pack, again, we're seeing trucks get loose off the corner. I think that's just going to get worse and worse as this run goes on. These tires getting more worn. Now, last night in the Cup Series, we saw some drivers, and we were told in the interview specifically, they took 2 tires to make the car loose. That is not going to be the case tonight. I don't think 2 tires is ever going to be an option when this thing is that skittish coming out of the corner.
And Travis Beckner in that 28 ripping the top of the racetrack. We were 201 last night. Now we're down to a paltry 190 miles an hour. Saw Cole Cabry get to the inside there. Now he's going to the high side. Can't really make that truck change positions in the middle of the corner. Lost some momentum as he got free. Now Harbert's to the inside, but a major push going from the top. Cabry goes up to take that block off. Had to go look at the score sheet, and he was Homestead that he won. That was the race that Travis Beckner dominated, that Cole Cabry snuck at the end. But that 54 really running on that right rear. 81, save it, save it, save it. He does. Ricky Rudd, save of the race candidate.
That was incredible, the way that he was able to gather that up. Let's take a look at the PTR TV instant replay. Keep your eye on that 54. He was already loose halfway through the corner. On exit, it just goes from bad to worse. And then behind him, Brad Slaughter with a bit of a tap to the bumper. Out to the outside wall, gets overtaken by several trucks, but overall gets it straightened out. That was, I say it a lot, but that could have been worse, Corey.
Absolutely. He used the wall quite strategically there. I don't know if that was the intent, but it worked out that way, where the wall kept that truck facing the right direction. And, of course, he'll have some aero damage, but if he could stay in the draft, you know, as we always say, the draft is the best Band-Aid to any damage. Let's see if we can get any kind of a close-up of it. Jeremy Miller just in front of him. It doesn't look too bad, if anything. I don't really see any damage, so he may have lucked out. Sometimes the trucks are paper mache, sometimes they are just carbon nanotubes, and I think it feels like it's the latter, but he'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get a little bit of luck with the damage and the iRacing netcode, you don't really look a gift horse in the mouth. You just take what you can get. And again, when they do come down pit road, I'm curious to see some of these box times, because I think there's more than a few drivers that are going to have some aero damage that at any other track would probably not be worth it to stay in the stall and fix. But here in Michigan, it matters. It matters a lot. So that will be really fascinating to me, because again, on iRacing, as a spectator, you don't always see the damage. Sometimes the model doesn't show what the driver is feeling. So that's a good way to gauge what's going on. But speaking of what's going on, how about Harberts and Jonathan Evans in the 26? He's looking down low. And these two, hot on the heels of Alex McCullum. He took the lead early on. He's been pacing the field, just leading the way this entire race, but not getting away. I mean, it has not been easy. He's been pressured the whole time. I think any one of these trucks up front is capable of taking the lead if the door opens.
Yeah, it could also be fuel saving as well. Just maybe not stretching it for 5 or 6 laps, but maybe just trying to get an extra lap out of it. You never quite know. But let's go back just quickly here. This is the second draft led by the 62. I guess technically maybe the 03 of Dante Curtis. No, not quite him. It is the 62. That is the second draft there. That's where you find potentially a wreck. No, they save it. That's getting around the 5 of Garrett Grant. As you said, that could have been a lot worse. And 62 getting loose with a 96 right to his rear. These guys ain't playing any nicer than the leaders are.
No, and we saw this in the Cup race as well. It didn't really matter what position they were fighting for. They were going to fight. They were going to get every point they could. And it makes sense. You really can't... you can't get too easy on the throttle. You can't let yourself hemorrhage too many positions, even if it's not for the lead of the race. And you really got to get with it, because if you let the leaders get away, you get out of the draft, you're in trouble. It's a little bit like Daytona Talladega in that regard. You got to stay with the pack.
We're going to stay with the pack. And Chase Cabry there in the 20th spot, someone who not afraid to be patient and take advantage of the race later on when it matters, but maybe a little bit of a concern to be out of the draft. But obviously, if we get a caution, that gap will get eradicated here. 33 laps in 1/3 distance, or a little bit past it for you mathematicians there. But here comes our first challenge for the lead that we have seen really since the restart. Jonathan Evans with a dive to the inside here, entering turn number 3. No help to the bottom of the track. Will he need it? Can he rip down there on that yellow line? Can he maintain the run? Off of the corner, he'll get a really good side draft. He's going to do everything he can do, get the side draft, pull away, but McCullum's going to get him back, and here comes the help.
Yeah, if you want to call it help, but with the way the arrow is, I think sometimes it might be a little bit more detrimental to get the shove. But either way, race leader Cole Cabry comes to the point, gets loose. He's sliding through the corner. He's still in a four-wheel drift.
No.
Is he going to have space to gather it up? No, he will not. Into the one, and Harberts goes down into the inside wall, and it's a nose hit directly. That is big damage. That might be race ending.
That caused a caution.
Comes out.
I am floored that caused a caution. I don't know if admin manually did that, but they usually don't. But there's the wiggle down to the inside, hard to the wall there. I don't see anything else that happened, but yeah, that is the caution flag, which I am very surprised. Usually that real estate to the inside lets them roll through, but new updates to Michigan Speedway, of course, in recent builds. Maybe they tightened up the box there, but that will be very important for these drivers, because it will eliminate really the green flag stop cycle that was maybe 5 to 8 laps in the distance for us.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking for Harberts. Like you said, usually that real estate lets you gather it up, but the angle he got hit, I mean, he was just riding along, minding his own business. But Cabry, who's been fighting loose the entire race, I kept pointing it out. I think I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times prior to that, him getting into a 4-wheel slide and just barely saving it. That time, he had the misfortune of being 3 wide, and while he was gathering it up, he got into the 1, which then shot him right down into Harberts, who was minding his own business. And that angle that he hit, that was like Elliott Sadler at Pocono in the COT. That was just an angle you're not recovering from. and unfortunately, huge damage to a top-tier competitor.
Absolutely. Again, no backups or anything like that, and the amount of time it would take to repair that vehicle probably would have him 10-plus laps down, if indeed they're even willing to fix it, which sometimes the pit crew is not. But here they come down into pit road. I'd be very surprised to see anything else but 4 tires and fuel for the majority, if not all of these drivers. Maybe a 2-tire stop will be had. It was the deal last night, but we'll see what the decisions tend to be here. Jonathan Evans rolling down into the pits. We'll watch what's going on. I see Jax going on the right side. Will they go up on the left side as well?
I believe Slaughter missed his pit stall. He had to hit it in reverse. That's going to cost him big time there. I believe he did take a 4-tire stop, but look at all these trucks going out ahead of him. He was in the top 5. Now he's going to be lucky if he exits in the top 10. No, he will not be in the top 10. That was a horrendous amount of time he lost for such a minor mistake. Now he's going to have some work to do under green.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the data for Brad Slaughter. A 14-second stop, 40-second lane time. And comparatively, everybody else was about 38 seconds. So yeah, that was roughly 2.5 seconds longer in the pit stall. And of course, under caution, when everyone's bunched up, that is going to obviously amount to a lot of stops, a lot of spots. But luckily for him, he'll be able to get those back. Admin saying that we have 2 points to the 54 as the cause of that wreck, where he wasn't the direct cause of it. I think his looseness kind of dominoed into it, and that's again difficult situations for the admin to take care of. Do want to bring up here some of the sponsors here. Again, Blue Tip Pool Builders, a big partner here with Area, right on that number 77 truck. You can bring your party to life this summer with Blue Tip Pool Builders. They can customize your pool for your style and aesthetic. They got skilled craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology that brings your pool to life. If you don't have a pool, they also have outdoor space capabilities, dynamic lounging areas, kitchens, and more. Head to bluetippools.com, but that will be the one to go. Evans will be, again, on the outside with Cabri P2 to the inside.
And I think this race is proving to be a little bit of the opposite of last night. Last night, the longer the run went on, the less likely a caution was in my mind, because the car was getting tighter. So the drivers were posting slower laps. The car was more stable. Even if it was difficult to get it to rotate, it was very stable. And it was like a snowball effect. The longer we went, the easier the car was to drive, the less chance of chaos. This truck, on the other hand, I feel like the longer the run goes on, the increased chance of chaos, because that slide out of Cabri was not uncommon. We were seeing lots of drivers do very similar things, and you can only get away with that so many laps in a row, Corey, before things really go sideways. But that was a good long run, and hopefully we can get another one, maybe even a better run. But everybody fueled up, everybody on fresh tires. Race truck is getting ready to make that duck down into the pits, and we're going to be going green here on lap 38 out of 90. So getting through the race, clicked off quite a few laps, and here we go. The virtual fans in the 2D stands are ready for Jonathan Evans and Cole Cabri to lead the way to the line, and what a jump for that 26.
And we'll get the whole shot advantage here down the front stretch into turn number 1. Beckner to the outside with Cole Cabri to the inside. No help, but I don't know if he really needs it. But if Beckner needs it, he does have help to his arrears in the form of teammate Garrett Conrath. And they'll try to shove each other down the straightaway with a head of steam. This could be a lead change in the favor of the 28. He'll dive to the inside of Evans here into turn number 3. Will it be enough to clear? I don't think so. See, coming off the corner, will Beckner clear? He will. So move that 28 to the lead, if not very temporarily, because here comes Evans with another run. And we're back under caution.
Something unseen there. Oh my goodness.
And
on the help. Door, unable to get righted.
Josh Parrish in that 55. Try to cue it up here on the old replay. Oh, what in the name of Davy Jones Locker? Ryan Nowicki. What in the world happened with Ryan? That maroon blank number 74 truck right in the middle of the shot here. Yeah, he just had no control there off of turn number 4. When it bit, it bit. And an interesting long slide on the driver's door for Josh Parrish. But while we have another quick caution here, we are going to step aside for a brief break and be back with you guys for the restart. So please stay with us. And we're back here on PTR TV, the Area Truck Series, round number 5. 90 laps around the Michigan Speedway. Myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the truck. Dirt Andre here helping out with the commentary. We've had, I think, our 3rd caution of the race, maybe 4th. I've kind of lost count. But we're going to give at it for another restart. Travis Beckner, the control vehicle, choosing the inside. One of the few to actually make that decision here into the restart box. And here we go.
In that 28, Travis Beckner able to get a good launch there on relatively fresh tires. And that second group behind him, they're going to be too wide for P2. The 49 on the bottom, 26 up top. That number 1 that led quite a few laps early on, kind of lurking there, waiting for the opportunity to make his move.
Absolutely trying to make the move indeed here. And we are starting to see a little semblance of attrition here. We do have, 6 drivers out of the race or heavily damaged. But let's go 4 wide and about the back end of the top 10 right now. Jeremy Miller, Grant Brown, a name we really haven't discussed here today. Then you have Cody Dempster, the 62, William Hale in the mix, Jacob Bell, highest he's really been on the evening. I see Zachary Nerney, haven't discussed him. So again, drivers who are evading the carnage here and trying to make their presence known here as we approach halfway.
Well, and I think it was mostly patience that paid off last night in the Cup Series, and I think it's going to be a similar story here, but we're just not seeing as much patience in all reality. These guys have really never turned that off. It seemed like even in that long green flag run we had, we were still going 2-3 wide. And right there, that was a bit of a sketchy moment. But this pack right here, there's the number 54, Cole Cabrey, who had just gotten to the lead or was trying to take the lead when he got loose and caused that incident a while back, trying to recover from that blunder. Still too wide. Going to go 3 there, but out front, Travis Beckner hoping that they sort themselves out behind and that he can just kind of run away there.
Can Chase Cabrey, who's been really methodic in the rear of the field here today, he's slowly working his way through, again, evading the carnage, evading the wrecks, but eventually you got to turn on the go switch, and halfway this time by, lap number 45 on the board. If this goes green, this race will be over in a smidgen over 30 minutes. So not too much racing to be had here if this all goes to plan. But Alex McCullum, Garrett Conrath, second and third. Trevor Edwards, again, of all the cars with that similar paint scheme here, Trevor Edwards, the highest of them here today at this present time, as a little 4-truck breakaway presents.
Yeah, I don't think that breakaway is going to be a breakaway for long. Some pretty heavy hitters right behind him. You see the number 30, Jeremy Miller. You see Cole Cabrey. You see John Evans. John led a few laps earlier. So these guys, I'm sure, are going to reel them back in, and only a little bit of 3 and 4 wide in the middle of the field. But everybody else, I think, starting to maybe calm down a little bit. We're seeing some single file even further back, 2 wide at times, but just early on looks like a little bit more patience. These guys want to get to the end. They do not want to be involved in this chaos. Single file all the way down the straightaway. They're going to fan out in the corners. 14 unable to get in line. He was just cut off barely. And Cody Dempster, he made a heck of a lunge there.
And he is slideways on the bottom of the racetrack trying to make something happen down there. And it is worth noting as well that no matter how you crumble the cookie, there will be one more pit stop in this race required for fuel. We can only go at maximum, let's say 38 laps, give or take a lap or 2. So, of course, having to go about 47, that math does not equate there. But here's Alex Chilcutt, who really hasn't made his presence known, but that, again, could be the Chase Cabrey-style strategy of just patience. And he is the points leader, so he does not want to have an 18 on his stat sheet.
No, it's going to be all about consistency for those points, and an 18th position is going to be a bit of a hit. But again, we got a lot of racing left. We are just past halfway, so these guys got a little bit of time. If they just put on their thinking caps here and they start thinking long term, they can really kind of take it easy, start making more methodical moves and less chaotic moves. But at number 30, you saw it right there, that dreaded wiggle. It just keeps happening, Corey. I mean, this truck, this is going to be a good shot on board through the corner. I'm sure you'll see him saw on that wheel quite a bit. This thing just, it looks evil. I mean, it just looks tough to drive steady there. But right there, you see the counter steer, middle of the corner. He's turning right. This is quite something. And he's actually going to make a move, it looks like, on Trevor Edwards. Might be able to get the overtake complete. He's got some help from, I believe, Evans behind. Nope, not quite going to get there. No, that's sorry, that was, the 26 Evans.
Yeah, it is kind of just an interest. Obviously, the biggest topic in NASCAR media these days is our driver's athlete that's just turning left. Well, he was not even turning left. That truck has enough yaw into it. The steering wheel is pointing straight, and it was still actually making the bend here as free as it is. And doing that at 165 miles an hour certainly is a feeling that I have yet to experience, nor will I ever, and I'm honestly not sure if I have the brass cojones to deal with it, nor would I have the brass cojones to go 3x3. That is Hale. That is Swan in the middle. Nerney to the top. Who is that to the inside? Is that Brad Slaughter? Remember, he had a couple issues, but again, they are 3x3 for about 15th to 20th.
Oh my goodness, Corey, into the outside wall, the 44. Now the 66 is going to get a shot up into him. He's going to have to come down the track. Big checkup in momentum, the accordion effect in full swing. Take a look at the PTR TV instant replay. Keep your eye on the 66 and the 44. So it starts with the 60, pushes the 62 into the 44, and then the 62 gets the 66 right back into the 44 again. I mean, boy, that...
Nerney actually saved that from being a caution. If he was not there, the 44 would have spun to the inside, but Nerney there straightened him out. I mean, I don't think that was his intent, but, you know, we'll take it because it keeps the race under the green flag. But here is now Alex McCullum, who he has been up front for a portion of this race, that thereof being 27 laps, and he's in third. He wasn't. Now he's in fourth because Jeremy Miller has managed to get by, which again is no surprise here as we are now 50 laps in and so much left to go here today.
Yeah, it is gonna be about thought I saw another wiggle there, but that number 30 again on corner entry, that rear end wanted to stick out. This handling condition extremely tough for these guys. Beckner hanging on to it pretty well. I think, honestly, Corey, the race leaders got it the easiest out of anybody. Sure, the guy behind you might be able to take the air off your spoiler, but you don't have that turbulent air ahead. You don't have anybody alongside you. That truck is probably handling better than anybody else's truck in the entire field.
Absolutely it is here until perhaps someone gets right to the rear deck lid, but luckily for Beckner, Conrath, team driver there, so that will kind of give a little bit more peace of mind there. And if you like peace of mind, there's no real segue to it, but if you like hot sauce, then we'll just awkwardly transition to rickshotsauce.com, which you can see on that number 20 of Ryan Swan. There's Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. And of course, they are also sponsoring the Rookie of the Year battle on the Area Cup Series on Monday nights right here on PTR TV and on the Area iRacing Twitch. So again, rickshotsauce.com. So that is Jacob Bell. Got another one of our partners, Blue Tip Pool Builders, all the way to the bottom of the track. Was he looking 3 wide or was he loose? Couldn't quite tell. But they are going at it for... is that the lead? It is the lead. Yes, Beckner still has it.
Yeah, Beckner's pretty comfortable with it. I've seen Conrad try to go down low a couple times. The door has not opened thus far. Now, this lap truck is going to shake things up. That's kind of a bad place for the leaders to catch them. It forces them into a shallow entry, which is not fun with a loose handling condition.
Well, speaking of loose...
that's why it's not fun. Shallow entry, that is exactly what happens, and we're not done yet. Still loose out of the corner. Some contact to Evans. Good save by Evans. He got kind of pushed low, and he was able to keep that thing pointed forward somehow above all odds. But I'll tell you, man, and that was all that was, Corey, coming in that corner too low. That is how on edge these trucks are.
Yeah, he just was loose for the whole corner after having that much wheel cranked into it and really just never was able to recover. And again, luckily there was no one near him there. He had some space to make the clear as they get by Brian Noel in that 7. He will be the first one lap down there in the 30th position, leaving 29 trucks on the lead lap here with 35 laps to go. Again, one pit stop still to be had, but they have plenty of time before they need to consider it. 20 laps in, maybe 20 laps to the stop. So got to get yourself in that position. And as we've seen, Dirt, even though we're falling off on the stopwatch about a second, they're slipping and sliding, but the draft is so powerful that even though they don't have grip, they have draft and they have a wreck.
Yeah,
William Hale.
That's going to get them...
Similar wreck to what we saw earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't look as much damage. I think he got rode up quite a bit. We'll see on the area replay here. But, yeah, just loose in front. And again, another instance of somebody just being a victim of circumstance. Wrong place, wrong time. We're going to go on board now
Watch, I
And
think
you'll see
Levi.
exactly what he
Not
saw.
Levi. Eli Green in the night. No, 7 of Noel, the lap truck, kind of up into the 96. He didn't really get into the 96, but he got the 96 loose, which kind of set the tone here. Then Hale got loose, and then, yeah, it was actually Noel. So, yeah, the lapper got somebody loose, and then unfortunately got into the 62. So that was a double whammy there by Noel, which we'll see how how aggressively admin scores that one, because that was multifaceted.
It was a lot of moving pieces parts there. Obviously, the lap truck is dealing with the same difficulties everybody else is. I mean, that was not his intent to be in the fray there with these guys by no means.
But he was over his head.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of these guys are, because this truck is just, it's insane. Going from what we saw last night, this is like polar opposite handling conditions. And these guys, I mean, big props to these guys up front who have hung on to it and who have made such good moves. Beckner, Miller, all these other guys, they've been loose, they've been fighting it, but they've stuck with it so far. Now everybody down pit road. I'm curious, Corey, hasn't been that long since these guys have taken tires. Are they going to take them again?
Apparently 2005 pop Altern bands are a little bit too old for reference here in 2026. But anyways, yeah, tires going up. Now, will anybody take 2? Again, that was the nomenclature there on Monday night. Somebody overshoots their box there. I think that was actually the 96. But no, 4 tires is the normality. Still have plenty of sets on the wall to use. And who's going to get out first? It'll be Beckner.
So Beckner flawless in the stall. Going to maintain that lead. Pretty important, because like I said, I really think, Corey, there is... Well, no, he's not maintaining the lead. We got a driver staying out.
Aaron Johnson.
Mr. Bodie. Oh, Johnson, I'm sorry. As he is going to brave the restart on old tires. He's warming them up, though, Corey. I think if he just weaves enough, they'll be close enough to freshies, right?
I mean, the part of this that I don't understand is, okay, we got some big news that to report very generically, but he doesn't have enough fuel to get to the end. So 22 laps in his tank, maybe 20 more on an absolute ultra mega hyper mile. So he's going to need to pit again. No wreck score for that lap 56 incident. Just want to make that known. And I'm not going to publicize that last piece of information, but there was a driver who will be probably not around an area anymore due to some reasons.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, going back to your fuel mileage, if you're just a little short now, you might be good by the end of it, because I don't think we're done pacing. I think we're going to have a few more 70-mile-an-hour laps around this place by the time it's all said and done. That's just my prediction. I don't know how you feel about it, Corey.
I've always seen the glass half empty. I'm trying to look at it more half full. However, you do have to be a realist. This is something you're getting into stick and ball sports a lot more lately. So when your home team is terrible, you still want them to win. But if you watch the game and say, yeah, they're going to lose, are you a hometown fan, or are you just being a realist? Like, you have to accept reality.
You know, honestly...
Like, I knew the Patriots were going to lose the Super Bowl, and people are like, well, you're not a fan. I'm a fan, but I know they're going to lose. Like, 2 things can both be true. So in this case...
that's hard for me to answer, because I wouldn't be a fan. Like, if my home team was winning nothing, and I truly believe they had no shot, I'd probably root for another team. I know that's heresy to stick and ball sport fans, but like I'm not a football guy, but my team for my state is, well, we got 2 teams, but one of them is abysmal. And if I was a football guy, I would not be rooting for them. But tell you what I am rooting for. I'm rooting for a long green flag run to close this thing out. Pace truck down pit road. Barney's got the green flag, and there it is. Out the way we go once again here at Michigan.
Oh, jeepers.
Hasn't been caution laden as we thought it might be. It's actually had some good runs here and there. See if we can get that in there. 3 wide for P4. P5. We're going to go 4 wide. The 78 on those old tires, Corey, he is going nowhere fast.
Yeah, he just went high and out of the way, which makes me question the point of the strategy in the first place, but that may also be a fray over my head there. But Travis Beckner did regain the lead, but that may be very short-lived as Trevor Edwards to his inside, Miller in the middle, and Chase Cabry, first time I really recall him being in the top 10. He's deciding to come to the front here at money time.
Yeah, Cabry, Cole and Chase now linked up. So we've seen Chase Cabry up at the front, but Cole's been on a bit of a quiet march. He's got some camera time. We did kind of zoom in on him a few times when he was mid-pack, but he's been working his way up front, and I think if he's got the knowledge here and the assistance with the draft, he's capable, and I think he's got both as they're going to go single file into the corner, but Jeremy Miller says, what is single file? I don't know what that is.
Oh, he's loose.
Chase Cabry on the bottom, a big wiggle, comes up towards Alex Chilcutt in the 60, but Chilcutt, very aware of what's going on there, kind of drifts up out of the way. They're able to keep it going for another lap.
Yeah, Chilcutt, again, he was just talking about him. He was 18th, and, that wouldn't be good on the stat sheet for the points. And, well, just like that, he finds himself in the 7th position. Jacob Bell, again, all these drivers who were in the back, they find themselves in the front. But something that usually comes from that is when you're in the back all race, you don't have that experience of what it's like to slice and dice up front, with the guys who were the fastest on track. So that also kind of becomes a learning curve experience to reacclimate to the kind of more on-edge competition up front.
Yeah, you got to kind of have a feel for who you're racing with and what the general vibe of this pack is, and it's going to be a little bit different up front than it is in the back. I think generally I'd say when you get to the packs up front, you can kind of take the guard down a little bit. You can feel a little bit more confident in the trucks around you, but I don't have much confidence in any of these trucks, not because of the drivers, but just because it is so loose. I mean, Jeremy Miller, how many times have we seen that guy full right lock trying to save that thing like Takumi Fujiwara drifting down Mount Akina, and he has somehow kept it going. But again, we don't really tempt fate so long. So far, he's tempted it quite a bit. On board with Cole Cabry, this gives you the scenes up close and personal, what it's like in this pack, the chaos. If any of these guys do have live spotters, Corey, which I'd assume quite a few of them do, I do not envy the spotter. How do you even communicate what exactly is going on around you?
And Cole Cabry, as free as he's been, and whoa, Michigan chicane, Cole Cabry. And I think Jacob tried to take it as well. Of course, we joke, but let's see why he took the Michigan chicane here. He was underneath Jacob Bell and Slaughter, and Jacob Bell was loose and make like an IHOP there because he got pancaked. But that's some pretty heavy front end damage to the right front of Cole, so that could be game over, which will be a big hit for him in the points.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. That is going to be significant damage as he is now P20, probably going to have to get that thing fixed up if he can. They're going to continue on, though. No caution for that incident. Travis Beckner leads the way. Cody Dempster P2. Trevor Edwards P3. And Chase Cabry going to be P4. So again, that march towards the front continues on. That 41 truck looking good. Garrett Conrad's working in 5th. He's led some laps. He's had pace all night long. And he's one to keep an eye on. But it's just so hard to make any sort of judgment as the 24 makes a bold move for the lead. Gets into the door in the 28. Luckily, neither driver gets sideways. They're able to continue on. But that is going to cost Cody Dempster P2. Moves Edwards up to 2nd place in his position. And 41 on the bumper, doing some bump drafting. And we have not seen a lot of that, Corey. We have not seen hardly any bump drafting. And it's not hard to figure out why. I don't think these trucks are taking it very well when they get too close in proximity. But again, Jeremy Miller just cannot. He can't go a lap without going 3 wide, can he?
No, he's just, that is just what's in his DNA, is go for it and run every lap like it's the last one. So many have that mentality, and it's a decent one to have here. But now we have 2 coast-to-coast teammates up here in the form of Cole, rather, no, not Cole. Trevor Edwards and I believe Chase, I would imagine there are affiliates here. It's not on my sheet, but I imagine they are affiliates. They're running on the same team, running in the same channel here, Chase and Trevor. Of course, now Cole not in the mix to add to the trio there, but I think 2 is better than 0. Because right now, Travis, he does have Garrett Conrath to work with him, but a couple trucks in the middle to break up that tandem.
Yeah, it does get it separated, and a big wiggle out of the 41, who was just a part of that 3-wide for the lead. And into the wall goes Garrett Conrath. That's going to check up this field behind him. Reflexive driving from everybody, able to keep it safe as the number 1 side draft in 26. They're 3 wide, door to door, very tight situation. That 1 is sliding up the corner. Got to give it a bit of a check on the throttle into the 22. They're still 3 wide. I cannot believe that was not a wreck. I would have bet the house. I would have bet everything that was going to end poorly, but somehow they are able not to bring out a yellow flag. As the number 1 stuck on that low line, I do not think that's where he wants to be, Corey. He is not comfortable down there. And speaking of the low line for the lead, Trevor Edwards tries to make a lunge at it. Many have. Many men have tried, but none of them have made that move down low on Beckner yet.
In the words of 50 Cent, many men wish death upon me. Well, Michigan Speedway is wishing death upon many drivers here today with how loose they are getting. There's Chase in third working with Trevor, and then behind that, and also that 30, another point about him. He really just hasn't seemed to ever get to the front. I don't know if he's led a lap here today. Let's pull up no, he's led 5, but it's like once he gets to third, he gets shuffled back to 7th. And then he gets back to 3rd or 4th, and then he gets shuffled back, and then he gets loose into the 24. Ooh, will he save it? He will, but he's going to lose a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that was a ton of momentum loss. I don't know if that was a bit of an overcorrection or if he was just coming up the track not aware of how tight it was. It was hard to really call in the moment, but oh boy, the 81 is loose. That's not hard to call. He's into the wall, into the 1, into the 30. They're all going around. Near blowover for Jeremy Miller. Here comes the number 20 Rick's Hot Sauce Machine. He's still in it. He gets down into another truck. Swan involved. Looks like half the field involved almost in some capacity. This is going to be one heck of a replay to dissect for you.
Yeah, we caught most of it live. Of course, we'll try to dissect it in a little bit more detail here. Now, they were 3 abreast off of the corner here. Watch the 30. And he's to the inside right here. But watch the 49 and the 81 just ahead. They're loose. The 81 kind of crab-whopped it up the track into the wall. The 1 is there. Then the 30 is there. 60 a Chilcutt, the points leader. Ryan Swan, Jeremy Brown actually, not Jeremy Brown, Jeremy Miller, pardon me, actually kind of got a double whammy there. I don't know why I added the for extra emphasis there, whammy. Cool whip, but let's go on board with Jeremy. 81's loose.
Yeah, he was loose halfway through the corner and then just into the 1, then into the 30. Almost blew over there. You could see the car start to lift up. And then that number 20 ping-ponging off of both trucks, low and high.
No discount on the dented hot sauce there. But everyone's...
Usually hot sauce comes in a glass bottle. I don't think that's dented. I think that is shattered. There is hot sauce all over the interior.
Hot sauce is actually another way to say shake and bake in the basketball realm. We used to say that back at the courts in about 2003, as old as I am. But everyone coming into the pits here for what I believe to be the 3rd set of tires here. And again, 4 on the wall, so why not take that extra set? Will anybody stay out? We'll take a gander at that, but Travis Beckner will exit pit road first. Everybody did make a pit stop here, as we're now sub 20 laps to go. And admin are giving 2 incident points to the 1 truck on that one.
That's interesting. I'm not going to question it. We got one quick look at it. Either way, this should be the final stop for everybody. Everybody should be more than good on fuel, and the tires shouldn't degrade too much over the next 19 laps. So this is going to be it. There's going to be a shoot to the end. May or may not be broken up by another caution or 2, but We're really winding down. 19 laps. If it stays green, that's going to go by in the blink of an eye. Will Beckner be able to hold on to that lead and live up to the pressure being applied by everybody behind? Will some of these drivers a little bit further back get more aggressive? Will they maybe make even deeper lunges than they have? I mean, really every overtake attempt we saw in the leader was down low. Nobody was really trying to swing around the outside. Do you think that would be a possibility for?
I mean, I think it will, but as the track, we go later in the afternoon, the track does cool off. I think it was 93 earlier. It's 87, so that's adding more grip, which when you add more grip, that does prioritize those inside lanes, which I think is kind of what we're seeing. And also, you said blink of an eye a few times. If anybody has Tubi, go check out that Michael Waltrip documentary, Blink of an Eye. It's actually very well done. I actually quite enjoy it. And the Tubi app is free, so it's actually called Blink of an Eye. Just popped in my head because that's just how my little scatterbrained mind works. But again, Travis Beckner looking to get into victory circle. He led so much of the race at Homestead, Miami, but wasn't able to take the trophy. Of course, Homestead has a little bit more driver control in the race, so here is going to have to be a lot of circumstances to be had, but we still have 29 drivers on the lead lap. Alex Chilcutt, he's the points leader, trying to get back as quickly as he can. At least his left front won't overheat.
Yeah, doesn't have to worry about that. A lot of other things to worry about, though, including the cars behind, the trucks behind, I should say, and everything else we've seen, the handling conditions, the just everything is there to worry about. But we're going to be going green with 17 to go. You got to put it in the rearview mirror. No pun intended. Just make your laps. Try to hit your marks and survive. We've had a lot of incidents, but the attrition rate has been relatively low, so there's still a lot of trucks here in the field as we go green. Looking back towards the pack. Big lunge out front for the 28. Gives himself about 3 truck lengths worth of advantage through the corner. They're going to go 2 wide for second place. And already getting a little bit sketchy there. I believe that is the 62 truck. Got sideways out of the corner. A couple trucks having to check up for him.
Yeah, truck's checking up, and here comes the 32 truck to the inside of the racetrack here, looking for the lead as they're 3 wide with Chase all the way to the outside. I think that was in the middle, the 24 Cody Dempster. This is certainly the highest he's been on the day as we have another caution flag, and that's Aaron Johnson. Remember, he was the one that stayed out the last time round, and something went astray for him. Oh, it wasn't his fault. That was a cataclysmic impact, but it's that orange, white, and red truck. 85 washed up the track into him there. That 85 was Jeff Wilson. Jeff J. Wilson. The J stands for just a little bit too tight.
Okay, so we'll go on board. And like you said, just a little tight, comes up the track.
Yeah,
actually, the 78 might have been coming down a little bit.
David has
on his own.
David, you're gonna have a tough one on in the admin hauler for that one, because first glance I thought that the 85 got loose because of running on the seam like that, but second thought, maybe the 78 came down a little bit, but that'll be another caution for us. And let me just go over all of my stuff that we got to go over here in the background. We didn't go over shop.areairacing.com. Again, if you're watching on Twitch and you have subscribed, you'll get your double points. You can redeem them for that merch. And if you haven't done that, you can also just go to the website, check out that merch. They have their custom area shirts, hats, Adidas clothing, and other accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com and get that new updated 2026 Studio temporary rebranded area merch. But is it worth doing a caution game here today, dude? Have we had enough to where it's actually tangible, or is it too easy of a guess? Or not?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, we've had enough that I've not been paying attention. I would not be able to say it off the top of my head. It might be worth doing the caution game.
We can do we can do two games. It's on the same graphic. A, how many lead changes have we had? And B, how many cautions have we had? And if, all right, you know what? I'm feeling oddly generous, which is just very strange for me. If anybody in our YouTube chat can guess the number of lead changes within 2, email me at primetimeracingtv@gmail.com and I will get you a free set of stickers. Never done that before. I've never done a giveaway.
I mean, they could just rewind, though.
Nah, they're not going to do that. Plus or minus 1. Dirt, I'm not sending you stickers because you work here. But anyways, what's the guess? Cautions, lead change, go.
I'm going to say we have had 6 cautions. I'm going to say there has been 11 lead changes.
That's it. I'm gonna go 8 cautions, and I'm gonna go with 19 lead changes. So, Lucky Duck saying 27 lead changes or 27 cautions. Not quite sure, but around 10 laps to go, barring another caution coming out before 10 laps to go, we'll make that. So I said 8 and 19, and Dirt said something and 11, 6 and 11, I believe. So, again, put your guesses in the chat there, and if you get the lead changes plus or minus 1, I'll send you a free set of PTR TV stickers. We have a couple decent ones. We have decent, not even good. They're just decent. Elephant on a skateboard, which is a saying that I use quite frequently on this channel. Like 2 trailer park girls go around in the outside. I actually used that one on Monday night, and I think a couple logo stickers here. So you can check out the PTR TV merch. Shameless plug in the YouTube chat as well. Not as cool as the area merch, but hey, I'm trying. I don't have the Studio Temporary to give me those cool logos. But anyways, let's head into the restart box. Whether lucky or not, 13 laps to go there this time by.
Yeah, we are getting down to the tail end of it, and Travis Beckner so far in the second half of this race has been the man to beat. He has been undeniably fast, and many drivers have tried to make a move, and he has shut down every single one of them so far. 32 on the outside, not as good of a start that time for Mr. Beckner, and it seems like he's actually checking up the truck behind. The number 49 is going to have to be on the bumper for a brief moment, give the advantage of that outside groove. It looks like Beckner might have a real challenge for the first time all night. That outside groove is moving, and they're going to get clear. New race leader.
Trevor Edwards getting the lead of the race now, but Beckner going to drive really aggressively with a head of steam to the inside. No looseness there. He just got a head of steam. He's going to side draft off the 32, 3 wide, has the help from Conrath in the middle. 26 of Evans has no one to facilitate his efforts there, but now entering 1. Usually the inside, not where you want to be. Can Beckner clear himself? He can by a whisker.
He's loose. Oh, it's not over. Into the outside wall, maybe.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Into the 26. Into the 62. It's the big one here at Michigan again. Oh, man. We saw that coming a mile away, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, just... You can make 1 move, but when you make 2, that's where the risk comes into play here. See, he's right in front of the 32. He's already loose. Now I can't tell if he went up to block on Evans on the top or if he was just loose and trying to hang on to it on the top of the racetrack. Perhaps we can go on board here with Evans and see what he saw.
Yeah, that 28 right there from that first
he just wiggled up the track.
Gather it up, and Evans... He tried to go high, but he did not lift, and it's understandable. There was some trucks behind him. If he tried to give that courtesy lift, he might have got run over. Just a result of this pack racing. The admins do not have an easy one to call in that one. That is... I
mean, he just literally saw him crab walk up the track. So, okay, we got to go back. Are you adding 1 or 2 or whatever to your initial guess, or... Are you standing true with 6 and 11?
I'm going to say 7.
7 and 11?
7 and 12.
7 and 12. what did I say? 8 and 19? I guess I'll say 9 and 19 now. I'm only holding our YouTube chat up to our lead changes, but survey says I said 9 and 19. What? 8 lead change? That's it? It seemed like so.
Wow,
But
I thought I was underestimating, but
now, C. Cabry is the fastest. Unfortunately, there's 2 C. Cabrys here in the race, but I can actually confer that it was Chase who got that fastest lap there. So we will not be passing out any stickers, unfortunately, but if you like stickers, then you can check it out. I think they are tagged here in the YouTube description. But now, I mean, you just got a feel for Travis Beckner. He just can't win himself a race. He's been up front, but in that situation, again, he was just loose. He was just crab walking it up 4 lanes, trying to keep control of the vehicle. I'm trying to find a camera that I can actually see some damage. There we go. The rear seems to be the worst there, which I guess is some kind of a silver lining. Rather the rear be damaged than the front.
yeah, it unfortunately, even if he gets it fixed up, there's really not a lot of time in this race to make up any position. So he's going to have to go like crazy if he does get back out on track to salvage whatever points he can. Just tough to see. Like you said, cannot seem to put it all together. He was dominating this race for the last half of it. But with this pack racing, when you get loose like that, you can't really expect everybody behind you to give you that courtesy lift, because they got drivers behind them, right? And they don't want to get ARCA brake. They don't want to get into the accordion effect. So they just kind of have to stick with it and try to steer clear of you as much as they can while hoping that you gather it up. And Beckner, I mean, he never got it gathered up. It was the whole corner that he was fighting that thing. And yeah, this has been quite the race.
Absolutely. And if you are drafted out per se, then you'll be happy to know that on Thursday, for the last area broadcast of this week of race number 5 week, we will be headed to Iowa, which I believe was the updated scan. So you'll have that kind of weird hodgepodge surface design there in the Nopes cars. And then next week, it will be a triple header of area at the Rockingham Speedway. A couple triple headers back to back. We'll also be headed to Indy as a triple header. The subsequent week, Dover, Darlington, the All-Star race will be off. So about the next 4 weeks of area will all be triple headers at tracks that will really test these drivers' skills. So kind of pack season, you could say. We had Las Vegas, which was pack-oriented. Of course, we started at Daytona. That season's behind us, Turt. So for a lot of these drivers, now they probably feel like after tonight, they can get their groove on, but still got to suffer through 8 more laps. Here we come here through 3 and 4.
A little bit of an internet lag there. I apologize, but go ahead.
I was going to say, they have 8 laps to go. Trevor Edwards, the control vehicle, to the inside. He's going to have Chase Cabry behind him. No surprise. Those affiliate trucks will be working together. And now Conrath all to his lonesome to the outside. McCullum with a little bit of lag there. 32 will get the whole shot. But watch for that outside lane. Already has a head of steam rolling here, getting to the right rear. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and they are already door slamming. They know they got to get while the getting's good. And looks like Cabry is going to dive down to the low line. He was not comfortable up top. That number 1 getting side drafted like crazy. The 24 Cody Dempster really put the bumper to him there. That number, oh boy, oh, they're sliding. Cody Dempster, I seen him get big sideways there. He was able to gather it up. Here comes that number 20 of Swan. Looks like he is going to slide up through a few lanes of traffic. There is an opening. No harm, no foul. There's the 44. He was just playing ping pong not too long ago. Now he's actually up towards the front. Corey Bodie, P8 after his incident. If they can hang on to that, but here comes that 30 behind him as well.
Quite literally just saw him bobbling through the corner there, and that is the 62 of William Hale, back of the pack. He holds on to it. We do stay green. which is obviously a very welcome sign here. But down in the front of the pack, Trevor Edwards hanging on. Chase Cabry stuck to the inside. Conrath wrapping the outside with the help from Alex McCullum there. But now Conrath cuts the door off, goes and drops behind, and now goes all the way to the bottom for a shot at the lead.
I think he might have something here if he can avoid getting too loose. Garrett Conrath has run the bottom quite a bit tonight. And he's been pretty stable down there. He's going to stay alongside. He might be able to get a little bit of a side draft going. Yeah, he's not choosing to. He's actually going to hold his lane. No side draft. That costs him the position. Lets the leader get clear once again. Edwards leading the way into the corner. 2 wide for P2. Alex McCullum is challenging on that outside groove. They're going to go 3 wide for 4th. Oh my goodness. Here comes Ryan Swan. We have just watched this guy just slowly, methodically appear further and further to the front of the field, involved in one of those cautions, but doesn't seem to be too miffed by that. Not too much damage. So there's that Rick's Hot Sauce machine. Great looking paint scheme up inside the top 10. A little bit of a side draft from Conrath to Dempster. But the 41, oh, there's the yellow flag. 85.
85, Jeff Wilson. Not the first time I know we've referenced that driver. He was in something a little while ago. We'll sort out what has issued this incident. Watch that yellow, white, and red truck. Oh, 86 loose down into Beckner. And innocent bystander. 86 a Logan Hartman that was. And then we're still... You'll say the Arrow, Joseph Swan, that truck tried to lift off, but it stayed on the ground, so virtual NASCAR doing something right. Let's go on board and see how free Hartman really got. That is free.
Very, very, Corey. Yeah, and then
not Eldora
again, and oh boy.
Well, this will put us again. I got to thank the man, the myth, the legend, Hunter Sleppy, who does our pre-race doc here. That gives us all the information of the race stats, race history, team affiliations, team rosters, all that fun stuff. And the 6 races here, 5 of them went into overtime. Now, if we get one to go this time by, which I'm almost positive we're not going to get, we would finish with a regulation green-white checker. It would just be a natural 2-lap finish to go. If we don't get 2 to go, well, 1 to go rather, then we will go into our 6th out of 7th overtime, and that is the case. Now, Michigan is a track that this truck series, they love it so much that they need more laps, and they need it almost every single time except season 2, where Cameron Hearn won that race, and the last caution was on 42 laps to go. But every other time, again, we have been in OT.
Yeah, this race was advertised as being shorter than the Cup race, but it may well be longer than the Cup race by the time we're done with overtimes. We'll have to see what exactly transpires here on these restarts. The attrition's definitely setting in, Corey. I mean, look at this field. There is a lot less trucks in this camera shot than what we had at the start of this race. It has been a wild night at Michigan. I'm sure these guys just want to get it done and dusted, but they also want to win it. So that aggression's not going to go down just because they just want to get to the checkered flag. And, for some of these drivers, Trevor Edwards, Chase Cabry, Alex McCullum, has been a whole night in the making. They've put in the work to get this win. They want to get it. They're not going to take it easy.
Absolutely not. Again, Chase Cabry, I know he is, I think, 10th in the points coming into here. Yes, he is. You have Trevor Edwards, who I know he is. I just did the point standings graphic to start this race. I could have swore he was higher up in the points than I recall. But no, he's 11th in the points. And again, with so many drivers having issues, he'll get himself up. Of course, Alex Chilcutt, our points leader, he was involved in a wreck. Is he still chugging? He is. He is just beating the pace car out of there. 26, still on the lead lap. And again, trying to preserve some of the damage here. Cole Cabry, he's second in points. He's having issues. Jeremy Miller, he's third in the points. He has issues. Beckner, he's fourth in points. He has issues. Garrett Conrath, this is the money day for him if he doesn't wreck.
Yeah, Conrath having a heck of a race. I mean, and it's been earned. This isn't like I got up here on strategy. I just kind of snuck in a good point. No, he's been up here. He's been battling for the lead. He's been running on pace with the leaders.
Pause. Jeremy Miller is in 11th. Actually, he is not. He recovered quite handily from that incident. So that was a stealth recovery that we didn't catch.
Unkillable. I don't know how that truck is still rolling after what we've seen, but got to give it to him.
Absolutely. Here as we head into 3 and 4 for area overtime number 1 of a potential 3. Trevor Edwards going to choose the outside lane, McCullum to the bottom. And then again, Chase Cabry in that 41. He's to the inside with Cody Dempster outside of road number 2. Will this be the final restart? We hope so, but we'll find out what happens. We got to get to the white to seal the deal. Let's see if we can do it.
And that outside lane, going to get a really good start there. That is Edwards able to get away. They're going to go 3 wide for P2. Looks like Cabry on the low line, and they're already wrecking. The number 1 goes around. The 20, the 30, all involved. There's the caution once again.
Well, there's Jeremy Miller. Just talked about his recovery. Well, not to be here. So we're about 4 wide, banging doors. The 24 and the 1. 24 recovered from it. But Alex McCullum, same cannot be said. Let's see what focused on Alex here, that number 1 in the middle. 24 just, completely came down the racetrack, and then everyone's just stacked up. And that's what'll happen.
Yeah, like I said, these guys, they're antsy. They want to get to the checkered flag, but they're not going to give any courtesy getting there. So this is going to be green-white checkered number 2. Hopefully they get it figured out, because they only got 1 more after this. And then it's just going to be up to fate. So unfortunate, a lot of heavy hitters in that incident there. The number 30 was on the recovery tour, and Ryan Swan, who was doing so well, we just talked about him. The commentator's curse engaged there.
Yeah, he glued that hot sauce bottle back together. And I don't know if that hot sauce is still staying in there or not. We got Hayden Swank. Someone in chat says Ben Pierce. Well, Ben Pierce, he has had some issues, and here comes everyone on in. Jeremy Miller, I don't think he's going to recover from that. I see some significant left front damage. Jeff Wilson, Alex Chilcutt. I don't think he was in. Actually, yes, he was. I could see that left front is not left fronting. It's hard to tell from this angle, but and he's the points leader. He's going to salvage what he can, but Trevor Edwards, he doesn't want to salvage what he can. He wants to put this thing in victory lane. And I think the best case for him right now, Dirt, is Chase is 3rd, so they can, I'm assuming he's going to take the inside, and him and the 41 are going to kind of shake and bake this restart and try to give themselves a whole shot.
You would think, but I think even working together is tough tonight, Corey. I think trying to link up and push each other down the straightaway, that is still an inherent risk when you've got a truck that is this ill handling, that is just not going along with your plans for the evening. But we'll see. Maybe they can pull off something we've not seen yet tonight. I know that so far Edwards has been pretty stable. He likes being up front, and that clean air has done him well. But at 41 is one driver that, even though he's been in the field, he's been in the pack, he has not looked bad as far as handling. I honestly have not seen him get too loose too many times. he's among the most stable in the top 5. And if he can just figure out a little bit of momentum, slingshot around these guys, he could definitely steal one away. I'm going to keep my eye on Mr. Cabry.
Absolutely. That's honestly who my pick is right now. And no, I'm not going to battle you here today. I think he is the one to watch right now. Get the slow, methodical drive to the front, putting that truck in the safest positions possible. And he's had a sniff of the lead, but not quite enough of it. But again, I say it every time, and I say it every time because we always have overtime, which requires me to say it for those who don't know. If we can make it to the white flag, once that white flag is displayed and the leader crosses the stripe, it does not matter how much carnage. We could have a 26 truck wreck on the white flag lap. Somebody will limp around to the checkers and they will drive themselves to victory lane. So we have to get to the white. If we don't, we'll rack them and stack them for a final time.
And I'm sure all of these drivers, hoping it doesn't come to that, well, all of these drivers, except for those that were involved in that incident and may need some more time on pit road to get the damage beat out and maybe sneak a few positions, salvage the points at the end of this thing. But everybody else, these drivers up front, they're hoping this is the final GWC. Garrett Conrath, Trevor Edwards, Cody Dempster, take your pick. I made my pick, but I think taking anybody inside this top 10 would be just as valuable. Talk about, by the way, Jacob Bell, who we thought was done and dusted. He was out of this thing. Nope, he's in the top 10, saving his points after the incident earlier. Here we go again, green-white checkered number 2. Who's going to get the advantage? Inside lane, outside lane. Looks like the outside. Trevor Edwards gets a decent jump. Not going to get clear down into turn 1, though. They will remain door to door, at least door to quarter panel, as they work their way through the center. That middle groove seems
Chase loose! Chase loose! Into the wall is the 96. Hard into the wall, but maintains the truck, maintains positioning. So we will stay green. That was the first bobble I've seen of the 41 all day, but he'll drive to the bottom. Trevor has the lead. Chase goes deep in the corner. Big wiggle from Cody, and I think we're going to make it to the white dirt.
Yeah, as long as we get... No, we did not. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's Nerny and Beckner. It's of all hurt people, it's Nerny, so hopefully it's not his fault, because otherwise I will roast him. We do have affiliations with him, so I'm allowed to roast him, but... Oh, it was not him. It was actually Beckner here as I check out on the long shot. Let's take a look here. Beckner driving in the middle, got loose in front of Slaughter, sideways. I can't roast Nerny, but he went for a ride.
He went for a heck of a ride. That was 2 massive hits, one off of another truck, one off of the inside wall there. We'll go on board with Nerny. See exactly what he saw, which is going to be a whole lot of sky and wall.
That's
what he's seeing.
That's what broke Denny Hamlin's back, and I think in 2013, except there was no safer barriers at Fontana back in the day. So, well, I get to update this line one more time. Green-white checker number 3, so it will be next flag ends the race. Basically, the yellow will end it, or the checkers will end it. One of the two. So, Chase Cabry second. I am very surprised. I thought him and the 41 would have worked together and both taken the inside. That was not the case, but this time by, they will have to start on opposite lanes because, well, that's just, we don't have juice code yet. So it'll be up to row number 2. That'll be Conrath and Dempster in row number 2.
Dempster has been making some good moves. He's got some speed, but he's looking a little unstable as far as getting loose, kicking through the corner there. So that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the desperation for all of these drivers is going to be at the absolute peak. It's the final GWC. If caution comes out from here, that's the race. So you want to be as high up in the grid as you can be at all times, right? It's not just about getting to the line. There is no patience. If you're the race leader on this restart, you need to maintain that lead because you may not make it back around to the checkered. You may have to be in the lead on the tri-oval or in the backstretch. So it's going to be desperation engage, and it's going to be a brawl.
And we don't have a live caution light graphic as Fox would normally put up in this instance, but you'll see that caution flag animation on the top of the ticker, which will let you know that this race will be over if indeed that's what it comes to. And you started saying, and I want to be, and it made me feel like, I don't know, I thought you were just going to say the Pokemon theme song for a second. Like, he wants to be the very best. I don't know. We're getting deep into this dirt. My brain is starting to go astray here, but we both took the 41. Is that still where we're going with this one?
I'm still feeling good about Mr. Cabri. I think, he made up a position there on that last little run. Not out of the realm of possibility he makes up one more.
Absolutely, and this is one to go, and you said earlier, Dirt, that they were having so much fun they wanted this to be longer than the Cup race, and it will be. We are going to, actually I think we're going to tie the Cup race. This is actually lap number 97, so we'll take the green-white checker on 98. So this will be a 100 lap race, so it'll actually match what the next gen drivers did on Monday night. But it'll be Edwards to the inside, Cabri to the outside. Cabri will have the 49 of Garrett Conrath, but I don't expect help. I expect them to flail out 4 wide, and we just pray that they can make it back at least to the white.
Yeah, you would hope so. But what we've seen tonight, who is that in the back catching up to the field? Is that a wild Jeremy Miller?
Chilcutt and Wilson both trying to catch up here. But here we
go. They're going to get to the tail end of the field. They'll have a chance to salvage some points, and who knows, depending on what carnage breaks out, they might be able to pick up more than a few positions. There's Jeremy Miller, tail end of the field there. I was mistaken. So here we go. Pace truck for the final time, the guaranteed final time, is down into the pits. And into the restart zone we go. Barney's got to wave that flag one more time. Don't worry, buddy. We know your arm is sore. You've been waving a lot of flags today. This is the last one. And away we go. A huge jump for the 32. That is going to put him a whole truck length out in front. 3 wide for P2. 41 on the outside. That is Cabri. He's got Jonathan Evans, Cody Dempster, and Garrett Conrath.
That's it.
Race is over. Trevor Edwards is your winner.
Is that Beckner for the trifecta here today? Let's take a gander here. Where is that number 28? He is on the inside lane. He's heavily damaged at this point, and yeah, that is not the way that I think anybody wanted this race to end. But that is we're not sponsored by Crumble Cookies, but that is how the cookie crumbles, and I'd love to be sponsored by them because that's the only way I could afford one of their cookies. But Trevor Edwards, he might be able to afford one of them after this because he'll get himself his first win of the season. It'll be a good points day from the 10th position for Trevor Edwards. And that number 32, first time I think I've seen him win one of these races. Jonathan Evans will be second, and Chase Cabri will round out our podium here. Of the big names, Jeremy Miller back in 19th. Alex Chilcutt will have to settle for 23rd. So this will be a massive swing in the point standings.
Yes, it definitely will be. And I'm a little surprised that was a yellow. If that was a sim thrown yellow, he was on the apron, which generally isn't considered the racing surface, but it could have either been admin or maybe the sim was just feeling particularly cautious today. And that is how it's going to end up. Race will end with that 28 getting the trifecta, you called it. That damage, I mean, there was nothing he could have done. I don't think there was a rear spoiler on that truck. Realistically, it's amazing he made it as far as he did. But a little bit of congratulations from the competitors, that 32, giving him some door taps, giving him some love. And even though it ended under yellow, that was a well-earned victory. I mean, he took the lead under green, had a really great pace, and held on to it.
A 21 lap sled door tap there from the 54. Of course, working with him there on their team. So will be happy to put that 32 in victory lane. Would have been interesting to see how it all shuffled out. And, we talk about, damaging the vehicle, doing your victory celebrations. Well, the teammate hitting the door there. I guess the teammate's going to put that thing into passing tech, but in all seriousness, a great race for Trevor Edwards, and he'll burn it down here on the front straightaway. We'll let him get his glory in. Unfortunately, he can't unbuckle and sit on the door, Hocevar style, but he can sure get himself a cool little burnout slide or something of the sort here. There it goes. Our area, shop.area, iRacing.com victory lane here. I don't think there's a sponsor there, but I just made one up. So while Trevor goes and celebrates his well-deserved victory, let's head down and start our post-race show here as we're running a little long here at the Michigan Speedway. Trevor Edwards gets the win by 1/10 of a second over Jonathan Evans. Chase Cabry will get the third. Dempster a solid fourth. Garrett Conrath in fifth. And now here is where a lot of shufflers happened. Corey Bodie, Danny Ware, Jacob Bell gets the top 10. Grant Brown, and then Dante Curtis the top 10.
Outside of the top 10, Alex McCollum, who did lead quite a few laps, winds up P11. Bryce Senesac, P12. Brad Slaughter Jr. also led a lap or two, P13. Brian Noel, I believe, P14. Eli Green, 15th. Hayden Swank, Cole Cabry, after that incident towards the end of the race, down as P17. Garrett Grant, Jeremy Miller, and Joseph Swan, P20.
All right, we'll let the rest of them scroll on by. Some big names there. Alex Chilcutt, Travis Beckner, who his day just went cataclysmically towards the end. And the last of drivers on the screen, Jacob Harbert's obviously a winner this season, but not to be here today. But we'll head to Victory Circle, and I've got Mr. Trevor Edwards up here. So Trevor, a chaotic race at Michigan. We had to use all the green-white checkers. You were leading for a lot of laps. You had to have a lot of great restarts, and you made it happen, man. How's it feel?
Holy shit, I couldn't believe this actually happened, man. I haven't won in a long time on here, and I haven't put a whole lot of effort into it, which I probably should. But, yeah, they all came together. I hate that it ended under a caution. It would have been fun to actually win it under green,
Well, I mean, same thing as, I guess, winning under a rain delay. It happy. You take whatever you can get. But just kind of talk about how that truck handled. We saw so many drivers just crab walking up 4 lanes, getting loose, self-spinning. Really didn't see too many issues out of that 32. How were you able to hang on tonight?
Man, it was weird. So tires did not matter for like the first 10 laps, but if you slipped the right rear after that, I mean, you would go to the back in a hurry. And there was a couple times, like if you just didn't guard the right rear, there was nothing you could do. You were losing 5 or 6 spots, and you had to get back in line and just be patient and let somebody else get impatient and slowly get the spots back. And we just got lucky, and honestly, we were in the right spot at the right time, in the right position. Anybody could have won this race from where we were and just missed that one wreck.
Well, absolutely. But you get yourself that win, 11th in the points. A lot of drivers with issues. It'll be a good points day for you, man. And heading into the Rock, who do you want to give a shout out to for your efforts here tonight?
Got to thank everybody at Ironhead Motorsports. Steven Oversight wasn't able to be here tonight. He was kind of busy. Both Cabry brothers, Blake Massengill for spotting all of us, giving us some pointers while we're going. Charlie Bates Designs for the paint scheme. Thank you for, putting this broadcast on. And I got to thank Pit Stop TV. They came aboard right before Daytona and made the truck look a little bit better.
Absolutely, and I'm friends with him too, so shout out to Pit Stop as well with Andrew over there. But great job, Trevor, and we'll catch you soon.
No, thanks, man.
And now a second place dirt is with Jonathan Evans. Yeah, just talk to you. He's with Jonathan Evans here in second place.
Mr. Evans, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Jonathan, this was a race of chaos. There was very few drivers who were able to be a consistent force all throughout the race. Seems like a lot of the drivers that were up front at one point wound up deep in the field or back in the garage, but you were up front pretty much all night, up inside the top 10, top 5. The truck looked really good. You were doing I'd say a better job keeping the hang of it than the drivers around you, and you get a really good points day to show for it. Tell me a little bit about your race.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good summary of it. I was just trying to build balance on the short runs, and I wasn't really worried about track position. I have the same philosophy at this track as I do at super speedways. It's like nothing really matters until you get to the first pit stop. As long as you can keep with like the lead draft, that's what's most important. But obviously we just kept getting cautions. But when we did have that quasi long run in the middle, I mean, the bottom was just really working for me, and that's where I could really thrive on this racetrack. I feel like I can run the bottom better than most people. But yeah, an up and down day for sure. I might have a bone to pick with Mr. Travis Beckner after that move that he did, but it's all fun. I really enjoy this league, and happy to be back in trucks for the first time this season. I really miss this series. I love the trucks a lot. So yeah, hopefully my day will come soon, because last week in the B car at Vegas, I felt like I had a really fast car, and this week too, and been a while since I won one of these things. So yeah, hopefully soon.
Definitely looks like your time is coming. Well, again, congratulations on a solid points day. And before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Yeah, well, first I just want to shout out you guys. You guys put a great show on. I don't know if my brother was in chat this evening, but if he was, and he's still watching, thanks for watching, and to everybody else that's watching, we appreciate you guys. Area, I mean, a great league, and of course I have to shout out Ben Pierce. He's my team owner, even though I'm not technically on his team for the trucks. He got me into this league, so I owe a lot of it to him. And he gave me this cool paint scheme as well. So yeah, thank you guys.
I will say, Jonathan, if his name is Almost Good, he was there for you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, Connor. Oh, Connor was there. Hell yeah. That makes me happy.
All right, man. Well, great run. We'll catch you at the Rock next week.
Yep. See you guys.
And now I've got Chase Cabry in third place. Chase, you started in seventh, but you were in the back, kind of being methodical most of the race, as you tend to be. Keep the truck safe, battle when it matters the most, and almost snuck it out here tonight, man. How was your kind of summary of your night?
Yeah, glad to finally get like a top 5. It's been like a long season, and haven't had like the best run, so got caught up in a wreck to start the race, and then that got my damage fixed and started moving along, and ended up getting all the way up to the front. So cool to have Travis win, and we'll just keep going on to the next week. And maybe like Sonoma, we had to start all the way in the back because I caused an incident in the race prior. So just trying to figure that out, and then coming from the back again here because I got caught up in a crash. So we just got to qualify better and stay up front longer.
Yeah, I know you've had a lot of speed, a couple races that could have went your way, but luckily, I guess draft pack season is kind of over with. Heading into the Rock, we got Dover, we got Darlington. Is this now where you feel like it's up to you to manhandle that truck and kind of be able to shine now?
Yeah, to kind of get away from some of these drafting tracks. Like, there's so many people show speed, and to be curious to see what happens when we go somewhere like Rockingham or Dover, like you said, even the Indy Oval, and then Darlington as well. So you start to kind of get out of the drafting style tracks, and then you threw a wild card in there like Sonoma. So we'll start to see who the players are as the season goes on, and hell, hopefully I'm one of them, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I can tell you live points. You're already up 3 on the day, up to 7th in the points, so a good points day, man. But I'll give you the floor if any shout-outs you want to give for your third.
Yeah, just shout out to Tanner for getting the job done, and my brother, and yeah, we'll go on to the next one.
All right, man, great job. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully. All right, well, that'll wrap up the show here, Dirt. So not quite what we saw last night, but still an interesting show nonetheless here in the trucks at Michigan.
Yeah, definitely showed who had their head on straight. I think pretty much everybody on that podium was among the more patient and careful drivers, and they were rewarded for that. A lot of the drivers we saw getting over aggressive, they paid for it dearly. Michigan takes no prisoners. You can't get away with things that you can get away with at other tracks. So it was entertaining for certain, and I'm sure these drivers are glad that the drafting phase of the schedule is going to go ahead and be done. and we're on to some more normal tracks going forward.
All right, of course, even starting as soon as Thursday, the Florida State Pro Series at the Iowa Speedway. You can catch us there, and we'll have some other coverage here this week. Elbows Out GT Racing tomorrow night. Triple Bypass coming back next week, and then we'll have another full calendar of area for the up-and-coming future. Glad to have everyone for the ride. Make sure if you're on PTR TV, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, consider hitting the subscribe and follow button there and help all of our partners out here for this journey. But that's going to be Corey and Dirt signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.